too hot now. I radiate, don't need a rear view, they behind me. Cause my future's so bright in my blind. Hold up, why I gotta shine so bright, don't need a reason. Escort in my head is out, they was just leaving. Can't be nobody else, I'ma be myself. So they gon' have to watch me treat myself. You make it look good. Watch yourself, huh? Yeah, you make it look good. Don't let it watch yourself, huh? Cause you make it look good. You make it look good. Watch yourself, huh? Yeah, you make it look good. Don't let it watch yourself, huh? Cause you make it look good. Watch yourself, huh? You make it look good. You make it look good. Watch yourself, huh? Yeah, you make it look good. Don't let it watch yourself, huh? Cause you make it look good. Watch this.
Ooh, Lordy, it's just about time. Wait a minute. We got a gag.
Whoa, it seems like Mitch McConnell had a stroke while he was giving a speech.
Yeah, the streets are calling him Glitch McConnell.
That's not funny.
It's not supposed to be nice.
Yeah, but if we make fun of him for having health issues, then we're just as bad as the conservatives.
I understand having empathy, right? I'm not a monster. But personally, I don't want to empathize with oppressors.
Yeah, but he's still human.
I mean, yeah, technically, sure, but so was Hitler. And if I had Twitter in the 1940s, I wouldn't be like, hey guys, I know he committed genocide, but we shouldn't be cheering for his death. He's still just a guy. He's a little baby, and he's got friends, and he has feelings. No, I would have tap danced on his corpse and then turned his bones into utensils and his teeth into a necklace. Like what, do you want me to send balloons and a get well card to the guy who just took our rights away? I hope he gets rabies and then cannibalized by drag queens. Poor little Mussolini and Joseph Stalin, they're still people.
Welcome to WYCD Wicked. That stands for What You Can Do. Hello, everybody. Hello, Elaine Sharp, Wicked Foxy Dragon, Jess Rush, Pinkerbell. Hello. Good to see y'all. Folks, I'm a little salty. I apologize for missing yesterday. I still don't know what happened. But look, it's for the best. I got that salt. I have unkind things to say. But I'm looking forward to sharing that with you. That is the purpose of Salty Saturday. It is impossible to follow this stuff all that closely and not be just a little bit furious about it. Someone in history said it more eloquently, but I can't remember the quote. Much less come up with that version on my own. You get the gist, though. If you're aware of what's happening, it's quite easy to be angry about it. Let me start in the way all true leftists get their, wake up and start their day, which is kvetching about other leftists. I don't know why this got under my skin quite so much, but it did. Do understand, though, before I jump into this segment. It comes from a place of not love, but let's say familial annoyance. You know how like you can have a cousin that every time you see you're annoyed by, but God damn it, they're still your cousin. When it comes down to it, you're on their side. Doesn't matter that Jeff always tells the same joke, and it was not a good one to start with. Never got a big laugh, not once. But he tells it like he's the Rolling Stones playing the hits. You're still at his side when it comes down to it. When the neighbor throws something at him, you jump the fence with him. So, with that said, let's talk about the Pod Save America, fellas. Yeah, I'm starting off Salty Saturday fetching about the fellas from Pod Save America. Look, I don't like dunking on them. Yeah, you all have mentioned the Pod Save guys a couple of times, and the problem is I don't actually think they're bad guys. But every time I've got something I really want to say about them, it's a criticism. I think it's fine to talk about them generally. I think most of what they agree with, or most of what they put out there, I agree with. It's just not like a revelation. I usually find that somebody said it better elsewhere. But I don't disagree with most of it. It's just the unique things I feel, the things that motivate me to talk about these fellas. They're complaints. And I think their content it's mostly agreeable. But they are exactly what I'd expect from folks who worked in the Obama administration, and identical to my gripes with centrist Dems as a whole. But once in a while, I feel like they're asking for it. And this right cha, this is what finally did it.
In this video right now are not subscribed to the Pod Save America YouTube channel. I've asked you 50 times. I have embarrassed myself. I've debased myself. I've made myself the butt of jokes. I've made earnest appeals. I've argued why it's good for progressive media and Democrats in the fight against Trump. I've done all of these things. And 7 in 10 of you have been unwilling to simply move your mouse cursor 6 inches, click the button once, and subscribe. I don't know what else I have to do. I'm trying not to take it personally. Maybe you're just waiting to do it at some point soon, but just do it. I don't like doing these pitches. I kind of hate it. Don't feel great about myself. I would stop if we could get that number up to like 70%.
Okay, so let's talk about that, huh? Yeah, it was the pitch for more subscribers. It irked me, man. The arrogance of that pitch. Look, this attitude I expect from an advisor to centrist Dems. The expectation of a subscription from someone who has so far only showed a willingness to give them a chance. Not even expressing gratitude for the views they got. Just demanding a subscription. How dare you not subscribe? Instead of demanding it, Pod Save fellas, earn it. Be entertaining enough. Be informative enough. Have an interesting enough perspective that somebody has a desire to subscribe to your channel and be notified of when your videos are coming up. Do that. For those that wonder what content has earned this progressive's subscription, allow me to recommend the Majority Report. And let's add some bonus points for the fact that the person they've chosen to represent their fickle demographic is black. I don't think that was intentional. It was either an oversight or they are frustratingly unaware that Democrats are known for taking black people's vote for granted, which we will talk about more in a moment. To the Pod Save America, fellas, if you're going to lower yourself to begging, then don't be petulant about it. Let me show you how to earnestly beg for a subscription. Please! Your old pal Jake burned a lot of bridges betting on this pony. For the love of Mary, I'm begging you. Please subscribe. Jesus Christ! Please subscribe! Like that. I'm doing fine. Now, in fairness, there actually is part of their little bit there that I did have compliments about. But let's read some comments here. Elaine Sharp, I subscribe here because Jake has been on True North Eager Beaver. Yes, indeed. Folks, if you're not already, go check out the True North Eager Beaver podcast. They are incredibly charming. They're the best. Brendan Carter, that's a drop. Christy Zilkowski, if only he was Jake. Step up your game and it'll happen, friend. Ooh. Oh, my ego. I could absolutely take it. Eating it up. I do feel a little bit bad. A teensy bit bad. Let me jump down to the very, very end, and let's see if I can talk with y'all about what I did like here. There was a message at the end of this video where they're doing the thing that I think they're most famous for, which is breaking down campaign ads. And I liked what the fellow they brought on had to say at the end. Let's have a look.
Jobs changed everything. It was a right that Americans had thought was a constitutional right for half a century, and they took it away. And if they can take that away, they can take Social Security away. And they've said they want to. They can take Medicare away, and they said they will. They can take Medicaid away. They can take Obamacare away. They can take the minimum wage away. The risk of losing all these accomplishments is the way to get credit for the accomplishment. Rather than simply saying, I did a good job, he needs to say, they are a threat to all the things that you and I did together. You came to me and gave me this power. They want to take that away from you.
So he's talking about a criticism of Joe Biden's ad there. Just one degree of separation away from what we do. They're talking about the criticism of Joe Biden's political campaign ad, saying that the recommendation this fella's tossing out there, and in my notes I put him down as PM. I don't know why I didn't just write his name. The recommendation is that Biden focus on essentially the threat that Republicans represent. Now, he was talking about it in pretty, as far as things go, mundane terms. And I can't believe I'm saying that when it comes down to abortion rights. I mean, literally, people die as a result of not having access to abortion. And I'm calling that mundane. But he's breaking it down. Let me put it like this. He's breaking it down in very sanitized terms. But he's right. He's quite correct. The focus really should be about what the Republicans will take away. And it's not just for the reasons he says. He says that people respond more to negativity. He says they respond essentially, and I probably shouldn't take too much of his own words here, but he says essentially that's going to be a more effective way to go about it. I'd like to point out why that is. Why people respond more to the threat somebody else represents than they appear to respond to promises. It's because y'all never fulfill promises, centrist Dems, because they're empty promises when they come from politicians. When politicians say what they will do for you that is good, when they talk about things that they do that are of benefit or will do that are of benefit to you, those things don't happen. But people did, once upon a time, respond quite positively to a positive message. A fellow by the name of Barack Obama. It's just, gosh, he didn't fulfill that positive message. I think people were excited about him because he was black, and the Democrats had never represented or put up a black candidate for. Wait a minute, what am I talking about? Jesse Jackson. But they hadn't put up in a long time, let's say at the very least, a serious candidate for president who was black. And so it seemed like it might have been a new leaf being turned over. I'm not saying people were like, "Yay, a black guy." I'm just saying it seemed like, oh, they might be serious about change. He was somebody with a background that would read like something you would expect an actual reformist president to have. And then it didn't happen. It did not happen. There was no significant change. The closest we got was the Affordable Care Act, but that got watered down to the point that it was essentially, for many, I'm not going to say for all, for some people it's literally saved lives. So kudos to you, Obama. Let me give you credit for that. But for many, it got so watered down, for many it was essentially a penalty for being lower middle class. And boy, that pissed people off. So this guy's now saying Biden should campaign not on promises of what he'll do, but on promises of what the other guys will do. And he is right. Because Joe Biden making promises like he did last time around, they were Democrat promises. They're like, we will go into the negotiating room, wherever that is, vaguely remembering what I said here on this campaign trail and only undercutting ourselves significantly instead of very significantly. And then we will only allow ourselves to be beaten and battered down by somebody who is a minority party until the point that this policy I'm pitching to you here and now is barely recognizable. So it will still be recognizable, if barely. That's essentially a Democrat campaign promise. That's the subtext of it. So he's right. That's a Democrat, that's a Biden campaign promise. For the record, what we are going to do after a big fat victory in 2024, which is the first thing we're going to do, what we're going to do is take a page out of MAGA's book then and harass the Jim Christ out of a second-term Biden. Looking to make a legacy Biden, an easily influenced Joe Biden. We're going to take advantage of that. And we're going to take away the excuses in 24. But I think he's got a good point overall. I think he's quite correct about the way Biden should approach this campaign. And part of that is being honest about who the Republicans are. They will do these things. They will absolutely take away abortion rights. That will get people killed. They will eliminate our ability to educate our children about the Civil War. They will end democracy. They'll say that Trump, yada, 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 deserves another chance, another term, to make up for some excuse that they'll throw out there. They'll say, well, we can't trust these elections, so we're not going to have them. That's what is going to happen. So they're right. They should focus on what the bad guys will do, because Biden and company are anti-heroes at best. But that's okay. We knew that. Ooh, let's see what y'all have to say. Oof, not quite fast enough on the draw there. Wireless mic. I shared a new bow clip on the spreadsheet, my man. All right, let's have a look at that. There it is. There it is. Beautiful. Ooh, perfect. My God. Talk about a fitting clip. I was bitching so much about Biden. I think we could use a palate cleanser, or perhaps a Jake opinion corrector, or perhaps even still a what do you call it? I'm blanking on the word. Thing that means you're reassured. I don't remember the word. Jesus, I'm genuinely blanking. I once wrote words for a living. Got a suggestion for a clip here from Wireless Mike. I'm excited to see it because it's my beau on the internet. Yeah, beau of the fifth column. A good fella from parts south from here. Delighted to see what he's got to say. He's usually got an interesting take, and I always learn something. Let's have a look.
Oh, howdy there, Internet people. It's Beau again.
Howdy,
so
Beau.
today we are going to talk about Biden, jobs, and a very unique complaint about Biden. Every once in a while I get a message that just really surprises me. I think this one surprised me mainly because maybe an hour before getting this message, I saw Lauren Boebert tweet cheering that hundreds of Americans had been laid off because a company, the right, had decided to, make the culture war issue of the month or whatever. Well, they went woke and now they're going broke. Tweeted out an article talking about hundreds of Americans getting laid off and was happy about it. And then I get this message. Why don't you talk about Biden buying votes? I just saw that he got 20,000 factory jobs in Wisconsin, 22,000 in Michigan, 28,000 in Pennsylvania, 32,000 in Georgia, and 15,000 in Arizona. Don't you think it's odd that those are all states he needs to win in 2024? He's using his position to put jobs there to bribe people to vote for him. And don't say it's a lie or misunderstanding. He's bragging about it. Here's a screenshot, and they actually included a screenshot. Notice the states are blue on the map. It's so obvious. I'm just wondering what you think about it. I'm not actually like a huge Biden fan. I like him.
It is amazing. We're going to talk about the specifics here in a second. I want to talk about a separate phenomenon That is so frustrating that I'll just let Bo handle it eloquently, lest you see an actual blood vessel burst in my eye. But I don't think that Republicans fully understand my beef with them. I don't think they fully understand how much progressives hate defending centrists. I mean, it's genuinely, to me, almost as bad as having to defend like Ted Lieu. Now he is a Democrat, but having to defend Republicans. It's maddening. I don't think that Republicans fully understand the miracle they've done here in getting progressives and centrist Democrats occasionally defending each other. Let's be honest, centrist Democrats don't really defend progressives ever, but getting progressives to defend centrist Dems, oh my God. And they don't, I mean, they do it in the way that we progressives can't help but respond to, which is they criticize them wrong. they get the wrong things, or they get things. They'll complain about something, and it will just have no basis in fact. And it's like somebody making fun of Star Wars, and saying like, I don't know. Those Klingons are cool and all, but I don't know why they don't use their Sith powers to distract with Dementors. Just, it's not even, we just short circuit. We're like, that's not even the right, it doesn't work like, first of all, those franchises, and you just see the smoke rising out of our ears. Anyway, this person has fundamentally misunderstood politics. Bo is about to correct them. I just want to point out that face he's making is how I feel inside when I hear these people criticize people I love to criticize, but do it wrong. All right, Bo, break it down. Please explain to this person why you are, in fact, supposed to buy votes in the way this person is describing. It is, indeed, what the job is.
More than I did during the campaign, because he has exceeded my expectations. But I have to be honest, the complaints that come in about Biden make me like him more all the time. By your count, what you are saying is that we're talking about more than 100,000 jobs here that you're giving him credit for. And this is a problem. Good paying manufacturing jobs. That's his job. I know it's just a concept that doesn't resonate as much anymore, but elected officials are supposed to make your life better. They're not supposed to make you angry and be happy that somebody else's life got worse. They're supposed to deliver for their constituents. That's literally how the system works. That's why many of those officials are called representatives, because they're supposed to represent you. They are supposed to deliver for you. That's not bribing people. That's doing his job.
Maddening.
The cultural wars in this country have completely just altered and skewed people's perception of what politics is supposed to be. The idea that
Bo's right. I want to keep him going, except for one correction. He's doing the thing that I think is probably good for him to do on his channel, but I don't want to let go by without mentioning, so that if you see it on other channels, it annoys you. The culture wars. The right wing's culture wars. He says has totally destroyed people's perspective. No, right wingers' perspective about what politicians are supposed to be doing for us. It's not a both sides thing. And the culture wars, by the way, it's like saying the war in Ukraine is bad and both sides bear responsibility for it. No, they don't. Just Russia does. Just Russia. There is no debate to be had here. There's no debate to be tolerated here. Similarly, this is true with the culture wars and right-wingers. This, you do not see left-wingers looking for things to complain about. You do hear plenty of left-wing complaints about right-wing culture. It is only when that culture is actively trying to kill us. Try that in a small town. Buddy, try that in my neighborhood, and we will have the implications of your little video come to life in a way you just weren't ready for. The point is, it's defensive for us, it is offensive for them, and our perception of what politicians are supposed to be doing does not need to change. I don't want even a single lefty to hear this and be like, do I need to re-examine myself? First of all, yes, every single day you should make sure you're in the right. But you don't have to think that you don't have to think all that much about it to know that you're the good guys. Are you trying to genocide somebody? Nope. Great news. You're the good guys. Did you just think, well, I don't call it genocide? Nope. You're the bad guys. That's how it works. It's painfully simple these days. U.S. politics, hell, world politics. Painfully simple.
A person sitting in Congress, and to be clear, it wasn't just Boebert, is cheering Americans getting laid off, is something that wouldn't have been tolerated. That would have been a surefire loss of the next election. The culture wars have skewed people into thinking that the job of a politician is to make your perceived enemy, to make their life worse. That's not actually what they're supposed to be doing. Now, personally, I wouldn't actually give Biden credit for these jobs. Sure, some of the stuff that he did provided incentives that brought jobs to these areas. But, I mean, throwing it out.
Do you see what I mean by lefties cannot stand having to come to the defense of centrists? If you would criticize Biden for things you can absolutely criticize him for that were based in reality or just logic, I'd at least be tempted to be on your side. Boebert, you scum. I'd be tempted, I'll admit it. But they don't. Don't make me defend this guy. Don't make me like this guy. I kind of like him now. I'm a little bit sympathetic to him. Jesus Christ. It's like being allies with Stalin in the 40s. By God, it's begrudging. All right, Bo, bring it home. Jesus.
There that he's doing it single-handedly, delivering these jobs to these states in an attempt to make the people there happy so they vote for him. That's some very unique framing. Because if that's what he's doing, that's his job. That's what he's supposed to do. This country has gone so far off track when it comes to civic understanding and what the elected officials are supposed to be doing for you, that when they do their job, people assume it's bribery.
Jesus.
Again, Biden can take some credit for this, okay? But the idea that 100,000 jobs, more than, are all him, and he's selecting the locations where they're going to go to get votes, I wish he was as cool as his detractors make him out to be. I would be more concerned about the politicians who are happy that Americans got laid off over one of their culture war stunts. That's a bigger issue. They're supposed to be trying to make your life better.
Excellent suggestion, wireless mic. Thank you. No additional notes. I'm very sad that I've spent now the majority of my professional broadcasting career defending centrist Dems just by default. Just by default. Because no matter how much I disagree with them, at least they agree that 2 + 2 = 4. At least they agree that the sky is blue, except for when it is full of smog from wildfires we are ultimately responsible for. You know, just the facts. Kills me. Kills me to do that. Ages me. I got a streak of white in my beard that I attribute to defending people I really don't want to defend, but the criticisms of them are just so wrong that it is important, I feel, to correct them. And I'm glad Bo does too, and I'm glad I got the coolest audience on the internet who's tossing out suggestions like that. Thank you, wireless mic. Christ. Are you kidding me? Oy, Gaval. Rex Trek ages you. Why, I oughta. I tell you, I have been an old man since I was a little boy. I've always appreciated a sweater, a tomato soup and grilled cheese. Sure. But the things Republicans say these days. Oh hell. You know what? I got a good bit. I'm gonna utterly stall this. In order to do an incredibly short joke. Oh, it's gonna be painful. But we're gonna do it anyway. Now pretend for a second that I had that loaded up. And ready to go. Okay. Yeah, always been an old man at heart, but the things Republicans say these days make me feel like this.
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
Imagine I had that all ready to go. And then laugh as though that's what happened. Oh, Christ. Deborah Kebthor, so glad Jake is on tonight. It's like the old days when friends can hang out and talk openly with each other. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Jake, for putting so much effort into creating this channel. Well, it's my genuine pleasure. Oh, Why I Oughta. Love that movie. Huh. I didn't know that was a movie. I just thought that was something we uttered often. Mars Falcon, Rextrack, it's better to oughta than naughta. That's for sure. Ba-da-ba. Well done. Rextrack, I tear up every time I watch it. Interesting. I gotta see that movie. Wicked Foxy Dragon. Really, I am always asking when someone says why I oughta, and no one actually has been quoting the movie but you. You are my new best friend. Son of a gun. What is it? Is the movie called Why I Oughta? Huh. Wicked Foxy Dragon. I'm trying to figure out if MAGAs like MTG and Bobert are really this stupid or if it is just an act. I can't wrap my head around how absolutely stupid these people are. I'm going to put a pin in that and come right back to it. Brenton Carter. Lead poisoning in corporate news, not just Fox News. Good point, indeed. You know what? I'm going to reread that. Got a quote from Wicked Foxy Dragon here. She says, I am trying to figure out if MAGAs like MTG and Bobert are really this stupid or if it is just an act. I can't wrap my head around how absolutely stupid these people are. I have a theory. I am of the belief that you know, the diehard MAGA folks, the Louis Gomerts and the Lauren Boberts and the Body Boberts or whatever, are they are that dumb, and they are also lying. I won't name names, but I have known more than one person who has turned to me with an evil smile on their face. And first of all, you have to understand, your old pal Jake has hung out with quite a few swindlers in his day, and having come from once upon a time the world of small-time sales, which is the sleaziest you can be, while still technically legal in your business dealings. I know a lot of them, and I have had more than one of my old buddies come up to me and say, I'm thinking about running for office. They do it with that evil smile, and I know what they're about to say next, and they never fail to say it. They're gonna run in a really red district as a Republican. And then from there, they give me their justifications for what their intentions are. It's always the same thing. They say, like, they're essentially telling me, breaking down all these conversations, boy, these look like some easy marks. And I agree. I mean, I thought about it. I didn't consider doing it for myself, but I have thought, like, my God, if I didn't have a soul, the easiest scam to run on earth would be to hint that I don't like black people, and then run for office and swindle a bunch of money from conservatives. If you can lose the election, oh my God, you made it, baby. You made it. The trick is with these folks, and I think you can glean my opinion of Boebert et al. From this. The trick is to be like Carrie Lake. Campaign in a place where you have a serious chance of winning by saying horrible things, but say things that are so horrible that you don't actually win. Then spend the next however long the term is for whatever the office is raising money to go fight the election. Doesn't matter if 10 judges throw it out of court. There's always something new you can take to court, and you can drive around drawing from the pool of donations you solicit. Just living, baby. Having that be your job. Complaining about an election you lost. Spending other people's money. Living in hotels. Taking your pals out to dinner and calling them advisors. Like, That's the life. So Lauren Boebert, Marjorie Taylor Greene, are they really that ignorant? Let's say that. Are they that ignorant about how these things work or are supposed to work? Yeah, they are. But they also, I mean, they don't care. They're not there to fly the plane. So they don't need to know how to fly it. Do they know how to fly it? No, but they're not there to fly it. There's somebody who wanted pilot credentials and the cute hat and jacket so that they could, do that thing where pilots get to sit for free on the plane and fly from place to place. But again, I can't stress enough, they have no interest in serving the drinks. They have no interest in working on the mechanics of the planes, and they have no interest in flying the planes. So it's almost irrelevant that they don't actually know how any of this stuff works. So it is both. It is both. They are dumb, and they are dishonest. Oh, Rex Trek. Hey, good evening from the Boomer. Well, still good to see you, my friend. I'm scrolling down. Ooh, look at that, Rex Trek. FYI, Why I Oughta is a reference to... is a reference from an 80s movie, Peggy Sue Got Married, with Kathleen Turner and Nick Cage. Withdrawn. I absolutely have seen that. Huge fan of Peggy Sue Got Married. I watched that film on Comedy Central, of all things, at like 2 in the morning when I was avoiding responsibilities. Pinkerbell, Boebert is just trash through and through. Yes. Rex Trek had to straighten this out. It was bugging me. Well, I thank you for the very kind $5. My God, can you imagine if all education was like that? You don't have to pay to know the answer. Somebody gives you a $5 to explain to you how things work. I'll tell you, that's just about where I am right now. I almost want to just give $5 to like Ted Cruz and be like, all right, here's how the U.S. government is supposed to work. Rex Trek, I love that movie. Seen it at least 4 times. It is a good one. Frankly, anything Kathleen Turner does is fantastic. She does not, in my opinion, get enough credit for her comedic chops. Y'all remember Romancing the Stone? That was her too as well, I think, right? Yeah. A funny gal. Wireless Mike. It was a quote from Mo first. I would believe that. It's just the thing that folks say sometimes. Oh, Wicked Foxy Dragon. Is it scary that I immediately knew that movie? No, that's a great movie. Romancing the Stone? Come on. That's a fantastic movie. Don't mess with me now. I feel like everybody has to have seen Romancing the Stone at some point. All right. I'm torn between what I want to watch next. Oh, no, I'm not. Let's do the CNN clip. It's too on the nose. One of the oh, look at that. I'm getting in my own recommendations, my own show. Oh, I got to get my head out of my own rump. Ugh. You know how well, I don't know why non-nerds would know this. Let me just backtrack. Back in the day, when Roman generals would come back from a victorious campaign, they would get a triumph, which was a parade where they walked through, they were led through Rome, and everybody was clapping for them. Yay! Yay! And so it goes. They had somebody there to whisper in their ear the whole time, "You're mortal. You're gonna die one day," just to keep them, a little bit humble. I would not need one, and here's why. My favorite thing on earth is self-depreciating humor. I don't know why. I truly love it. I love it when anybody in front of a camera takes, as the British would say, takes the piss out of themselves. It's makes me happy. That said, I have never seen the subject of our next clip willingly doing this in any sort of serious way. My question to you is this: would Trump need? I've done spoilers. Would Trump need, or rather, would Trump understand the lyrics of the song? Was he aware of them? Did he choose this? Is he being funny? Or is this just one of those magical moments where the stars lined up and the world gave us a sort of Greek chorus to what was actually happening? Let me know. We're going to start the segment. Recapping, so the question I'm asking y'all, is this intentional? Did Donald Trump mean to do this? Did his campaign mean to do this? Or was this just a beautiful, beautiful coincidence? CNN's going to ask the question as well. Let's look at it.
Former President Trump faced the music at a campaign rally in Iowa Friday. Amid growing legal woes, the former president took the stage just as the walkout song playing in the background blared lyrics that his opponents hope foreshadow his legal fate.
One could end up going to prison. One just might be president.
So if you couldn't make that out, or if you've been living under a rock and aren't familiar with that song, that is Brooks and Dunn, Only in America. And they're talking about all the things that can happen in this country, talking about someone who could go to prison, someone who could become president. Joining us now to discuss former Republican.
Just for the record, it's probably time to retire that phrase, Only in America. Just for the record, that actually happened to Lula. Both things. Lula da Silva over in Brazil. Literally, that happened. So I have not heard a reference to something only being able to happen in America that was accurate. At this point, it would have to be like, I became the literal president of the United States, only in America. Well, yeah. That's about what it's restricted to now. All right, let's hear. What do they think? What do the professionals think? Was this intentional or not? Either way, it's hilarious, and I'll give credit if it was intentional. And hilarious in a mean-spirited way, for the record.
Republican Congressman Charlie Dent and CNN political commentator and Democratic strategist Karen Finney. Karen, as you know, as I know, that Brooks and Dunn song is played at every single political rally.
Yes.
Folks of both parties use that to pump up the crowd, and we just don't know at this point if those lyrics were intentionally played at that time or if it was just a coincidence. I mean, what do you make of that moment?
Well, if anything, certainly the person who was in charge of production maybe should have paid a little closer attention to that. That's a little bit on the nose, just given everything that's going on. I'm just saying, you know, they could have skipped it forward or gone to a different part of the song. I would imagine, though, within the Trump campaign today, someone is getting their head bit off, no question.
That's right.
Why? I don't think so. That's dead on. And by the way, that really is the stakes. It's more so than the song even intended. Those are the stakes. The only way it looks like this guy is not going to prison is if he becomes the president and pardons himself. There's no way around that. He didn't do his crimes subtly. He's incapable of that. He's not savvy enough to do anything subtly, so he didn't bother doing these crimes subtly, and that means the case against him is rock solid. Of course, this guy is going to prison unless his crimes get forgiven. The one thing that won't happen is that he won't be able to prove that he didn't do crimes, because, and brace yourselves here, because I have some news that might shock you. Sit down if you're not. He did it. He did crimes. Like a lot of crimes. Like a coup. Only in America can you do a coup to try to overthrow the American government.
Because his usual walk-up song, when he has control of the music, is Lee Greenwood.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Got to be careful. All right, this hour, Charlie, Trump is holding a rally in your home state of Pennsylvania. He, of course, lost that state in 2020. In your eyes, what are his prospects there?
Well, as long as he has these legal storm clouds over his head, I think he's got real problems. No, I get it in the primary among the base. This is motivating a certain element of it, and he's certainly doing well in the polls. But among the general electorate, particularly in a swing state like Pennsylvania, this is going to be devastating. In fact, the fact that Trump is in Erie, Pennsylvania tonight is significant, because Erie is one of two counties in Pennsylvania. There's 67 counties, but Erie and Northampton counties are the two counties that went for Barack Obama, Donald Trump, and then Joe Biden. These are truly swing counties. So he's there for a reason. But again, Trump's legal problems and his never-ending looking backwards and grievance politics about what happened in the 2020 election, I think, are not going to help him in these swing states and marginal congressional districts. It's a real problem for the party. They all know it. They want.
You know, I just realized what Trump should have done is bribe the people of those counties. He should have bribed them with like jobs and stuff. You know, Republicans, it's time you take the gloves off. Really, you got to start playing dirty, you know, and really bribe the American people. Bribe them with health care. Yeah, slip them some health care under the table. What you should do is fund Social Security for 50 years. Put 50 years of funding for Social Security in a brown envelope and discreetly hand it to them, the American people, saying that they dropped it. That's what Republicans should do the next time they get an opportunity. Bribe the American people.
They want Trump to go away, but these leading contenders against him are afraid to say anything to him because they're fearful of antagonizing his base, other than maybe Chris Christie, Will Hurd, Tim Hutchinson, and a couple others.
And Governor Ron DeSantis is facing backlash from some of his black lawmakers in his party over his support for a new education guideline in Florida, specifically this requirement that students be taught that black people benefited from slavery. What do you make of this?
You know, it was a real misstep on the part of Ron DeSantis to double and triple down. And some in the Republican Party earlier in the week, even, they were attacking Vice President.
A real misstep. He accidentally doubled and tripled down. Let me try that again. A real misstep. He accidentally doubled down on this racist policy. And then an additional misstep and a whoopsie daisy when he tripled down on this incredibly racist policy. And oopsie doodles. Whoops, racist. That's not a misstep. That's an intentional thing he's done. You understand? I know we're talking corporate media. I know we're talking folks that are playing for Fox's crowd circa 2008. I get it. Sure. But let's be frank between us chickens here. That was not a misstep. He is a racist. So, he's just a straight up racist. That was a racist policy. He stood behind it until he couldn't possibly anymore. She's describing it as a misstep. Okay. But, for the record, it was him sticking to his guns. Something he genuinely meant. Understand that.
Harris even suggesting that she was lying about the standards. Well, now, as you see, I mean, as African Americans, I mean, there is something about the experience of slavery. You know, we don't need to rely on textbooks or experts. We have our own stories in our own families. So we know about the horrors of slavery and what the outcome was. It does put the Republican Party, though, in a very complicated position because you now have conservative black.
Jesus Christ, she's black? I've watched this clip before. I didn't catch the "we" there before. Talk about race being a construct. She could pass for my mother. I mean, all right, that was an accidental dig, I think. I have no concept of how old people are. The point is, wow, I didn't realize she was black. And also, I think I didn't notice that "we" because I was paying attention to the larger point, which is a good one, and something that really profoundly affected how I'm thinking about this, at least of late. An interesting thing is that it's part of the family story for a lot of Americans to say, well, great-grandpa escaped the plantation, got hounded by literal hounds, and got shot at by henchmen for rich people, and like Bond escaping the compound of a villain to go on to be the hero of the day, great-grandpa made it to Maine or wherever the hell, and thus our family has got its start as free people there. That, I think, is going to be a powerful force for good in the United States. And oh, hey, by the way, that is why what Ron DeSantis is doing ultimately will not work. However, I don't want that to be why what Ron DeSantis is doing fails. First of all, we've already been dishonored hugely. The United States has had its reputation in the 21st century now sullied. Just like it was in the 20th century. And just like it was in the 19th century, and just like it was in the 18th century. All by the same minded people, conservatives. We have had our reputation sullied in the United States by racist laws getting passed, demonstrating that we are a racist country. Still, embarrassing. I mean, we knew we were in 2004. We knew we were. The world basically knew we were in 2014. But we had plausible deniability. We could have said, "Oh, hey, the U.S. government just works real slow, and it takes time for things to officially make it onto the books." But no, we can't say that now. Quarter of the 21st century, come and gone, or going, and we've got these racist laws on the books. So I don't, in the name of a little piece of redemption, I don't want the reason that those laws get abolished and the people who made them get, let's just say, beaten half to death in the street, or a little more honorably tossed into a jail cell. I don't want the reason that happens to be that black folks once again saved our souls. I would love to see white voters come out in mass. And everybody but black folks come out in mass. All right, also black folks, but equally everybody coming out and saying, we don't agree with this. This is bad. These laws, these racist policies DeSantis does specifically are why we're out here voting against him and his ilk today. And yeah, I'd like to see us pass some laws. I don't know the specifics of them, but that make this behavior he's displayed punishable by a sentence, like a prison sentence. Yeah, I know. Freedom of speech, yada, yada, yada. Here's the thing. We have put up with minorities getting attacked for entirely too long. And I notice that in America, things are unthinkable, absolutely unthinkable until they've happened. Oh, the country could never work if we made Republicans suffer consequences for things that would be war crimes in other countries. Nah. If this was if this was Ethiopia and we were sending aid to Ethiopia of some sort, and one of their political leaders passed a law that singled out a minority in that country, and it just erased their history, insisted that their history be lied about, we would withdraw aid. We would punish them. And the way they would get their aid back is when that political leader was yanked out of power and tossed in a cell. In other words, we would demand other countries not behave the way we behave. So I want to see that filth on stage behind bars. He does not belong with free people. He does not belong amongst the decent population. We have a right not to have our air polluted by his breath. So do that however you need to do that, America. But that's what we ought to have. Toss his ass in prison.
Legislators in the crosshairs of Ron DeSantis at a moment when the Republican Party has been trying to make inroads with African Americans. And so how they're going to try to have it both ways, I think it's going to be interesting to watch. And I think it's another sign that Ron DeSantis just cannot win in a general election with this kind of a message.
And Charlie, one of the other black Republicans DeSantis has attacked, Senator Tim Scott, appears to be heating up in terms of the polls. I mean, his super PAC has brought in around $20 million, and some state polls have him gaining on DeSantis or even overtaking him for second place. DeSantis was once, of course, thought to be the antidote to Trump. Now it looks like it could be Scott.
Well, yeah, Tim Scott has a very aspirational, forward-looking message. He is kind of like the anti-Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis in many ways, in that,
Boy, CNN is really looking for their Republican candidate, huh? Oh, Jesus Christ. So for the record, what they are trying to do, after the failure of DeSantis, they are trying to find the Republican they can prop up. One thing that's fascinating is that the media in 2016, and in this case I do mean the whole media, realized that they have the ability to heavily influence who becomes president. And you know what? Maybe the media knew this in the past. I'll say this generation of broadcasters really took to heart the fact that they can change it all. And the funny thing is, so did the rest of America, which means they've lost a lot of that ability. Irony of ironies. So now they're out there trying to recreate what they did accidentally for Trump. Talk about him so much that they give him free advertising, blah, 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 blah. They're desperate to do that with anybody at CNN, anybody other than Trump, because they still, in CNN, they're happy to live in a corrupt country, but they want a stable corrupt country. They don't want it Trump corrupt. They don't want it so corrupt that the thing's falling apart. So they're looking for a Scott. They would love, giant tax breaks for the filthy rich that run the company that puts out their shows, and the people on air. They want the giant tax breaks for them. They want bailouts that mean those people can still gamble with money in the stock market but have no actual fear of consequences if they lose. In fact, it benefits them to gamble big, because if they lose big enough, they don't have to pay. And if they win big enough, they become oligarchs. Hooray! That's what they still want, and they see that in Tim Scott. Why don't they see that in DeSantis anymore? Well, because DeSantis is losing popularity fast. He has no charisma whatsoever. And they won't have that with Trump because, as I said, that's too corrupt. That's so corrupt that they become the oligarchs of a country that is more like Russia, and therefore he is falling apart. Really, really fascinating to see who they're going to try to prop up. I don't think Tim Scott's going to do it for you folks, but let's see, maybe.
Scott is not talking about grievance and victimization. He's talking about the future. He's talking about what can happen, and he's got this wonderful optimistic message. He's got a great personal story. I think people are responding to that. It's as simple as that. And again, Ron DeSantis has made missteps, as Karen just said, with the slavery and personal benefit in the state education guidelines. It's ridiculous. Suggesting to appoint Robert Kennedy Jr. as the FDA leader of the FDA or the Centers for Disease Control. I mean, that's just crazy. I mean, so he's had these types of missteps in recent days, and I think Tim Scott is benefiting, again, with his personal story and a very positive message.
And Karen, President Biden publicly acknowledged his 4-year-old granddaughter, Navy, for the first time. In a statement first reported by People magazine, he said, quote, "Our son, Hunter, and Navy's mother, London, are working together to foster a relationship that is in the best interests of their daughter, preserving her pride."
All right, little news tricks. Look at that mugshot they gave Biden up there. Good Lord. Hey, quick note for CNN. They know this, but I'm going to say it anyway. It's irrelevant. Totally irrelevant. And they're going to bust Biden's chops a little bit about Hunter Biden having an illegitimate kid. Again, Hunter Biden, he's living the life of a tomcat. I can't. He is the human id personified. Is that the right thing? I think it is. He was going out banging and doing drugs, and most importantly, not running for president. It's not Biden's fault what his grown son does. It's not his fault. As long as Hunter Biden isn't given a position in the administration, got nothing to do with the Biden administration. Apparently, Hunter Biden has an illegitimate kid. If you're surprised, I'm delighted that you managed to miss Hunter Biden's stories. It's totally irrelevant, and this is CNN just making a fool of itself over nothing. It does tell you, though, what they're trying to do. They're trying to woo over Republicans that want a little bit of red meat. Okay. Whatever. That's dumb. Leave the kid alone. Kids are off limits. Oh my God. Trump has absolutely no sense whatsoever of how screwed he is. Or maybe he has, this is like playing music while the ship goes down. Maybe he does know how screwed he is. I don't know, but I gotta tell you, my personal thoughts, I don't think it was an accident. I think he walked out exactly when he intended to. I think he was listening to that song, thinking like, yeah, that's it. That's when I walk out. When they're talking about the thing that's about me. Prison. If anybody out there is a bit of a Lee Harvey Oswald, let me be clear. Nobody touches Trump. If you want to survive my wrath, nobody touches Trump. This motherfucker is going to prison. If he has a heart attack, I will slice open reality, leap through the rent I have teared in reality from Michigan to Florida and give him CPR. I'll put my lips on his nasty, sweaty mouth and breathe life back into his body in order to keep him alive so that he can see the inside of a prison cell. There is no other acceptable alternative. He's got to see the inside of that cell. We are going to make sure that happens collectively in America. Christy Zilkowski, I will make 8x10s of Trump's mugshot for everyone. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, yes, please. Rex Trek. Oh, my God. Another $5. Thank you. I saw all this coming election night 2016 when Trump won. I turned to my hubby and I said, our nation is ruined, reputation and decency gone forever. I mostly agree with you. Can I heart that? Oopsie. Son of a gun. I can heart that. I mostly agree with you. I think we can recover it. But I mean, that was one hell of a prediction. Even on 2016, even I was like, well, maybe he'll care. Maybe he'll just be happy with the title. God damn, you're right, I was wrong. Unfriendly Atheist with the very kind $5. Thank you. Mo from the Three Stooges said, why I oughta about 10,000 years ago. Just say. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think why I oughta has been a pretty good punchline for a while. Jake, Wicked Foxy Dragon, says, they have a device to do that so you don't have to kiss him. Yeah, I know. But look, I'd be willing to. That's how far I would go. And I would do that knowing that no sane person would ever then kiss me ever again. My own mother wouldn't give me a peck on the cheek to say goodbye at Thanksgiving if I gave Donald Trump CPR. And I would endure that. I would endure that just to make sure that mother spent his final days in a prison cell. Oh, I can't wait. Folks, there's going to be a solid week where we're basically just partying on this channel. We're going to have some marathon streams. When the gavel finally falls and that motherfucker is declared guilty. Oh, Lordy. Oh, God. We're gonna have a party. For sure. Oh, mercy me. Radical centrist. On November 9th, 2016, I spoke with my Republican mother and told her bitterly that maybe Trump's victory was for the best. After all, if he lost, his supporters would have taken up their guns. Oh, my God. I hate that you were so right. I hate that you were so right. Drought tolerant. What can you do? So the thing about Salty Saturday is we're theoretically just kvetching. We're bitching. It's a day to not pursue plans and what have you. But I will say this. Of late, the overarching theme of the show has been the same, which is that most plans for serious change in the United States begin with winning the House, winning the Senate, and winning the White House in 2024. We're in a stalemate with the U.S. government right now. Truth be told, if you want to get a law passed, you need it proposed and in one body, and you need the other body to pass it, and then you need the White House to sign it. And we have a split government right now. So major legislative changes simply will not happen. That's both good and bad. And yeah, here and there, especially with local politics, we have opportunities to create change, and we do focus on those. But I will say for tonight, with everything we're talking about, the what you can do of it has been said, and I recommend it still, which is prepare to vote in 24. If you have friends that are mildly interested in politics, pay attention to the things they say and try to get them more interested in politics and recommend to them entertaining channels. Truly. A major part of what we're doing of late is highlighting other channels people might enjoy. So you have options to choose from. Beau of the Fifth Column is amongst the best. It's probably my number one recommendation for introducing people to politics that don't follow it too closely. And if you've got people that are informed, but informed by folks who are predictably corporate, I would recommend The Majority Report. Christy Zolkowski, and electing Sanders or Porter for president. Oh my God, yes, Wicked Foxy Dragon. I'm for Porter or Raskin. Jamie Raskin in this, the second act of his career here. Yes, I never thought I'd be a big Raskin fan. I'm a huge Raskin fan. Good Lord. Elaine Sharp, are there any type of charges that could disqualify Trump? No. I mean, like, disqualify him from running for office? No. And this is, I hate to say it, this is a rare, well, no, I take that back. There are. There actually are. I mean, genuinely, treason would. 14th Amendment might come into, this is different from treason, but yeah, 14th Amendment might come into play here. Let me think about that. I do like the general concept, though, that you can run for office from prison. I mean, fundamentally, you should be able to lawfully oppose the laws of a country. You know? Tinkerbell, not even like sedition or something. No, I mean, truly, the 14th Amendment does say if you straight up betray... I mean, I'm not using, obviously, accurate language here, but the gist of the 14th Amendment says if you betray the country, you can't then run it. Find out. 14th Amendment simplified. Equal right. Other than amendment can't run for office. Section 3 of the 14th Amendment prohibits anyone who has previously taken an oath of office, such as senators, representatives, and other public officials, presidents, from holding public office if they have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the United States. Well, January 6th, I think, pretty well constitutes an insurrection / rebellion. It was an attempted coup. So, given that the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers were convicted of sedition, I think there's a pretty good chance he could get disqualified. But, as Wicked Foxy Dragon points out, yes, you would still need Congress to move to do it. And regardless, we're not likely to get that conviction before the election. This is part of why it was very frustrating that Merrick Garland moved like molasses in January. At one point, I would like to put out, if he could have, let's say, done the investigation in a year and done the trial in the next year, we could have had a Democratic House convict this guy. Winston Sayer, yes, lots of stuff going on with the 14th. Absolutely. Let's hope that wasn't something expensive. Lots of stuff going on. But it's all, unfortunately, going to be irrelevant after the election. So, again, the plan is House, Senate, White House, 24. Cow and Jack, Jared Moskowitz, but heck yes to Katie Porter. Oh, we got lots of names here. These are all folks I would very much like in power. And I'll tell you, it makes me so happy to see a group a group of fans of political content on the internet tossing out names and having them all be of a similar theme. I mean, what does that tell you about how educated the American people have become? What does that tell you about how strong this generation of leaders is becoming? And down the line, we got people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Maxwell Frost. We got some young bucks out there with bright futures. We got Gloria Johnson, Justin Pearson, Justin Jones, the Tennessee Three. All of them. Bright futures in politics. You want to talk people with experience leading big things? You got my gal, Big Gretchen Whitmer. Tell you folks, she's about to be a free agent. Potential for the next one. I would be surprised if she doesn't take a whack at it. You know she's good because the militias tried to off her. That is going to be a badge of honor greater than even the people who Nixon hated. And by the way, Trump basically put the hit out on her. Trump called her out by name, and these militia responded. You also got Dana Nessel. Yeah, dark horse candidate there. She's been an attorney general and not a proper politician, but still more from Michigan just because I'm a big fan of the big three. Good Lord, Jocelyn Benson. That's another one. She's been a little less little less flamboyant than Whitmer or Nessel, but she's a solid contender. And that's literally just my state. We live in a time of great evil. There's no denying that. But you don't get to find out who the champions are amongst you unless there's a dragon needs slain. And phrasing it a little bit better, you don't get to find out who the dragon slayers are without a dragon. And boy, we got a lot of we got a lot of dragons. Sorry, Wicked Foxy Dragon. I'm not trying to call you out here. I feel like the left claimed the dragon analogy. All right. Well, my analogies are getting muddled. And so I think that's probably it for Salty Saturday. But boy, I tell you, I owe you a couple. So expect over the course of the next week random streams at random times, although the plan is still to go every night at 9 p.m. as well. So unless I specifically cancel it, that's when I hope to be live. This has been WYCD Wicked. That stands for what you can do. Hey.